All right, so we've been doing this GameStop series for a little while now, and people say they enjoy them a lot, so I went ahead and put the videos into a playlist, so if you enjoy this one, you can go back and watch the others. I've actually done quite a few at this point, and I'm on Twitter a lot, and people will tag me in different things to check out, and one of them was an ad from GameStop for a Dreamcast bundle, and of course I was interested in getting a Dreamcast because there's actually a project coming up that involves a Dreamcast, so I needed to get another one so I can keep my original one that works fine, just stock, original and everything, and because there's a project coming up that's going to involve soldering in like an HDMI setup and everything inside the Dreamcast, which is going to be pretty cool, so I was pretty excited to get this one, and it came with a few games as well, so we'll test it, we'll check it out, we'll open it up, do all that good stuff, and we'll see if they send a used one or a refurbished one here, although if you've read the title, you probably already know if it's used or refurbished, but it should be pretty good. Also, you should subscribe if you have not already, because I have a pretty good tech wave coming up that involves whatever this game is for. I don't know, but it's a fairly expensive tech wave, and we're getting dangerously close to 250,000 subscribers, so consider subscribing if you haven't, and like the video if you enjoy it. So let's see what you get if you order a Dreamcast from GameStop. So I haven't even opened this thing yet. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it open here. They use like this brown tape on top, but let me cut this open and we'll see this for the first time together, I guess, and see what we're getting into. There's our invoice and information. Let me just see if I can tear off anything obvious here. Let's just go ahead and tear that off. I need the information at the top. There we go. So I have here, let's see if we can get a nice little look at this. A couple things. We have Crazy Taxi, Jet Grind Radio, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater should be 2, and then the Dreamcast system. All of that together totals for, it was $80, and there's tax, of course, so $84.80. And I believe I thought there was shipping, but maybe shipping actually might have been free. But this actually got here in less than a week, I think. I think total, I think it got here less than a week. I mean, this invoice is dated at 1/15, and it was here yesterday. Yeah, not too bad. Shipping was good on that. It didn't take long. And let's see what we get here. Again, that larger bubble wrap that's a bit more sturdy. It's not like the little stuff that pops really easy. This is like the larger stuff. And there's our Dreamcast. Okay, looks like the game, I was hoping the games would have cases, but I guess you can't win them all. We, of course, had those GameCube games that were all cased, which was great. Looks like, for this, I got all loose ones. But we'll see. We'll actually test them all, too, with the Dreamcast. And I'm also going to test, we'll make a backup copy of this Crazy Taxi. And we'll also see if it plays backups as well. I can do that pretty quick, actually. I have a disk drive and everything I can pop it into on a computer and go ahead and copy it. Okay, cool. So we have all of those. Let's take a look at the system and see if it's used or refurbished or anything. It looks clean, at least. Oh, wait. Yeah. It's got like a lot of weird scuffing on top. It's very odd here. Almost like they took like a Brillo pad to the top of it. It might be hard to see in the camera here. It looks kind of odd, though. It's almost like I said, they scratched it down or they cleaned it with something they shouldn't have, maybe like Magic Eraser. You know, if you take Magic Eraser or something, it starts to like take the shine off of it. Ooh, it kicks open, very nice. All right, very cool. Let's look at the bottom, see if we get any kind of obvious spots. Well, there's that, and then, oh, there we go. Okay, so there is our GameStop refurbishment sticker right across the bottom here where you'd have to open it up. So that way we know. Premium refurbished, very nice. Dreamcast, it looks like I have a date here that looks like 10/18, so October 2018. So actually this is a couple months old now, but we'll go ahead and plug it in and test it out. Let's take a look at our controllers as well. I'm actually gonna put this box to the side over here. And let's kind of go through this and see. There is our power cord, correct power cord. AV cables look good, correct AV cables of course, and then our controller. I've had great luck with controllers from GameStop for these retro systems, and this one looks good as well. Feels good there, actually has all the nubs, these aren't even rubbed off, very clean. I feel like they probably clean their controllers like straight up, because they always come with these like stickers all over it. I wonder if those are like quality assurance stickers or something, because these controllers always look good. So again, very happy with this controller right now. We'll test this as well, of course, and we'll test the cables. And of course, I'll let you guys see what's going on there. Let's go ahead and test it first with everything, and then we'll and we'll take it apart and see if there was anything inside that they had to refurbish. Okay, so we're starting up here. The Dreamcast is such a loud system. It's so funny how loud the fan is in this thing. So starting up, let's I guess we'll drop Crazy Taxi in right away. I think that's a good start there. So we're at the menu now. 1998. I guess they didn't set the clock or anything. Disc is okay. So this is resurfaced, but it doesn't look bad at all. It should be fine. So let's go ahead and pop it in. Sounds good. This drive is so loud in the Dreamcast too. All right, starting up, and this should be Crazy Taxi. Yep, there we go. And I'll make like I said, I'm gonna make a backup of Crazy Taxi, and we'll test it to see if it plays that, because there are a lot of homebrew games, of course, that you can burn to a disc and play like straight up. There's a large homebrew community for the system here. So there we go. Okay, we'll start up. Crazy Taxi is awesome. It's hard to play now because it has so much it has licensed music in it, so it's tough on YouTube. But it looks like it's working fine there. Again, I'll make a backup of this guy and double check that. So let's move over to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. I'm actually starting this one up straight up from like powered off to on with the disc in there rather than start at the menu. And it should read it pretty quick and move along. I love Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, by the way. That's like my favorite from the series. And I remember I didn't have it on the Dreamcast till way late in its lifespan, but I remember it did look better on the Dreamcast than the other systems. There we go. Nice. Yeah, it's reading fine. It is, like I said, it's a loud system. It's definitely not a quiet system when it comes to reading the disk drive. You might be able to hear it over the microphone right now. Nice. Let's start up with Bob Burnquist. Go to the hangar. Yeah, it's loading fun. This is good stuff. I mean, $80 for a Dreamcast and 3 games, all of which are good games, because we're also going to check out Jet Grind Radio here in a second. There we go. I could play this game like all day. You know, if they were going to do something with this, it'd be so cool if they remade Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. I would play so much of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Okay, it's not as I don't like the joystick as much in this one, the D-pad. See, the problem with the D-pad on the Dreamcast, it was so squishy. Like, if you actually use it, I mean, it's not bad, it's just not great. It doesn't feel as responsive as other D-pads. All right, let's try out Jet Grind Radio, which is probably one of the most recognizable games, I'd say, on the Dreamcast. Let's check it out. So this one in particular, you can really see like the compound stuff that they used to resurface this guy. Yeah, very much so. You can see it on the bottom. This one has probably more like the worst or most obvious swirl marks around it than the other two. So I have a feeling this one probably got resurfaced quite a bit. In fact, it's actually leaving the stuff on the inside on the spindle just because there's so much on the inside of this. But let's see. I'm hoping it works because Jet Grind Radio is awesome. If you have not played it, it is worth picking up and trying out. Not to say it reads well. The controller is good. The only annoyance is, I guess, the top looks like somebody took Magic Eraser to it, which means that it probably had a lot of marker on the top, or it had one of those like sticker vinyls on it and it left a lot of gunk behind, like sticky adhesive, and they tried to probably take it off with something like that. But otherwise, it's good. It's not yellowed, like cosmetically, it's not yellowed or anything, which is cool, and it seems to be functioning perfectly fine. All 3 games are working too. All right, and last thing, I made a copy of Crazy Taxi right here, so it's a legal backup of this guy, so I don't have to keep using that disc if I don't want to. The Dreamcast, of course, had a lot of issues with copyright or protection against this, where you could burn discs. So let's see if this one that they sent out happens to be able to read these. So let's see what happens here. And I did test this one in my other Dreamcast that I know works fine. Let's see if it'll read it. Maybe? It's trying to. Sometimes lasers for like CDRs are hit or miss. This does appear to be the correct type of Dreamcast as well that can read these. There we go. Okay, so it took a minute, but it kicked in. So it looks like at least this one will read backups, and that means that it would also read homebrew games that you burn to a disk that people put out there for free, which is good. And that means that it should also read, of course, any of those aftermarket games that are coming out now, because sometimes they'll just burn them to a CDR. So good to see that that works there for the one they sent out as well. Yeah, everything so far looks good, but we're going to go ahead and open it now and see if there's anything that they did to it inside. Maybe they just cleaned it, but there's also a chance that maybe they put a new laser in or a new power supply. Who knows? Let's go ahead and kick it open and see what they did. One thing I was really hoping was that they would have sent me a broadband adapter by accident, because I bet you some of these get traded in, and some people accidentally just leave them on there. Unfortunately, this is looks to be just the modem, the standard modem that pretty much came with every one, obviously. That would have been so cool if they accidentally sent out like a broadband adapter. And I'm always hopeful that I can eventually find one at like a flea market or something, or even a convention where people aren't really as privy to that knowledge. That is they just leave a broadband adapter on there, because that's something that people still fight with to this day, is finding a good priced broadband adapter for these systems. There are other ways you can do it. Like, people have figured out that you can use a Raspberry Pi to kind of emulate it and make the Dreamcast run with the full 56K modem. But still, having a broadband one is just so much easier and so much more streamlined. So, only a couple screws hold this guy together, not much. You have some Phillips head, and then it comes pretty much completely apart. And I've had to work on a few Dreamcasts, believe it or not, before. The controller ports sometimes just go out on these things. It's really weird. There's also a CMOS battery in here that, if I remember, recharges. So that was actually pretty cool, but they still go bad, over time. Oh, that's right. We got that sticker back there. I forgot about that little sticker from GameStop. I can just cut it and kind of leave it the look of the Dreamcast, or the look of the GameStop sticker back there. There we go. All right, so let's see what we have here. Obviously, our power supply is right there. And then we have our entire assembly here. This is our front controller board, which is modular, along with that battery that I was talking about at the front here. It tends to go bad at times, and you can just pretty much desolder it and solder a new one, or you can replace this entire board. The LED's there too. You can actually do some fun stuff like change the LED for like a blue one or something. Also seen that. Fan on the side here with the shroud. I'm not seeing anything out. In fact, I'm actually seeing, I don't know if that's a food particle. It looks like, I thought it was a food particle, but it actually looks like it's a little bug that's kind of just hanging out there. And that tends to happen with these things. It's kind of hard to tell. It looks kind of like a little bug. But let me go ahead and take this guy up here. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that says that they changed out a laser, they cleaned something, or if they just put a refurbished sticker on the back because it all worked. That's what I'm trying to kind of piece together here right now. So we're just going to take this whole piece out. The whole thing lifts up. I was just hoping I could just see without having to do that completely. But you can actually just pretty much pop the whole thing up. So that's what we're going to do right now to remove it. The nice thing about the Dreamcast is it's actually pretty easy to open up and work on, because everything is like right in front of you. Now, if you get down to the motherboard, it starts to become kind of annoying. The motherboard is kind of a pain to get into on this guy, but if you're just doing stuff like working on this laser assembly, it's right here. It's so easy to get to. It's like that PS1 that we looked at before, where it was just pretty much right in front of you. You can get to it. So I went ahead and just popped it up. It literally just plugs in. That's all. It just plugs in straight to here. That's how people have done things like put hard drives in this. I'm not kidding. There's also a way you can put SD card setups in here. But it's pretty much, this is the entire assembly here that you can just completely remove. And then you can also work on it separately from here. So you can just put the whole system to the side. I don't even think they went this far. And the way you can kind of tell is because it's clean under here and then there's dirt and dust here. And if they're this far, you figure you just take like a paper towel through it and like the dust will start coming off, and you can tell. It's a little odd. That doesn't seem like they did a lot. The power supply looks the same. I don't see any obvious signs of it being changed. The front board is the same because, again, it has loose dust on the front, whereas if you moved it and changed it, it probably would have been obvious. The fan is still dirty. So everything so far looks original. I doubt they got to this point at all. And I was thinking, okay, maybe they changed the laser, but looking at it right now, the laser looks the same too. That's the thing. I'm not seeing anything different in here, like, at all. I think this is just all original. Yeah, the laser is also original. There's really nothing changed out here. It looks exactly like my other one. Nothing different. Usually if you order lasers, they'll have stickers on it or something just to kind of show that it was changed or it's different or it's aftermarket. This has none of that. One fun thing you can also do, and this actually would have been cool to do if they had refurbished it this far, you can actually put like grease or some kind of like a lubricant here on this arm, and it'll get rid of that loud noise. If you have a Dreamcast, you know what I'm talking about, where it goes when it's trying to read. You can actually put a lubricant or like a grease on this rail here, and even some over here, and it will actually get rid of that grinding noise, which is nice. It just makes it quieter. Doesn't 100% get rid of it, but there are videos showing you that on YouTube. And I actually did it with my other one, and it did help it. So that's something that I'll probably look into this one as well, since this will become my HDMI Dreamcast. Otherwise, if I wanted to do anything else to the system, I would probably clean the fan. It comes out, and then you can just literally blow it out with some compressed air, or take some paper towels to it, just wipe everything down. And there's not much else to do in here. It looks actually pretty good overall. It just has some dirt and dust and stuff. And I mean, it's an old system. What do you expect, you know? But I don't think they actually opened it. Like, I don't think they did anything in here at all. I don't really know what the refurbishment sticker on the back would be for, because there's no real signs of them removing screws. I actually had to break a lot of them free. And a lot of times they'll be loose when you have already gone through and broken them. So like, this one, I don't think they've done much with, because you have to kind of really wrench it out of there. Yeah, same with that one. So I don't think a lot's happened in here. Whether that's good or bad, that's kind of up to you. Some people might have actually wanted them to do stuff like refurbish it or whatnot. I mean, I kind of like that it's original. You know, like everything in here appears to be all original. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back together, and I guess we'll finish up. That's going to do it for the Gamestop Dreamcast Premium Refurbished, that I guess they did something to. I don't think so. I think they probably tested and it worked fine. But something I'd like to see them do better, I would like cases for these games, especially since apparently Jet Grind Radio was $16 according to the invoice. So that would have been nice. Like, I don't think I would have bought these games, like, if I found them at like a flea market or something for those kind of prices, unless they had cases. And even then, I might be like, maybe. But like, cases would obviously be preferred. The system itself works fine. The controller, again, looks great. Their retro controllers continue to impress me. And the system has some weird wear on the top, like I said, probably from like some kind of rough way to clean it. Probably tore up the top of it. But outside of that, it's a good working system. I think it'll work well for the HDMI project I have coming up. That's going to be really, really cool. Because we'll also test some plug and play adapters as well for it. And I got my Dreamcast, my second one, so that's good to see. But let me know what you guys think about the Dreamcast down below. I've pretty much been testing a lot of these systems from them to let you know if it's a good buy or not, or if it's something you can kind of buy with confidence. At least this one is a good buy, like it was. Maybe not the package. Like, if you can get the Dreamcast for $50 on its own, that's probably a good deal. But like, throw these loose games in the box for an extra, what, $30 or so? I probably could have gone without that. But thanks, guys, for watching. This was the Dreamcast or Sega Retro Bundle from GameStop that you guys showed me on Twitter. If you see anything else or you have any other questions about GameStop stuff, I can always look into it. I know people are asking about refurbished PS4s, for example, or Xbox Ones. You might look into that as well. But thanks, guys, for watching. Make sure you like the video if you liked it, dislike it. If not, get subscribed because we got a bunch of cool tech stuff coming up. And I'll see you guys next time.